Today we're going to be talking all about what should be in your thank you letter that you're going to send after your first interview. It's going to have what is going to be inside of the letter, when you should send it, some synonyms that will help your letter stand out and look very nice and very professional. If that is something that is interesting to you, make sure you stay tuned for this video. My name is Wendy Aldaman and you are here with Career Elevations in my craft room. I have a roommate, if you will, and he is being very loud outside right now. My roommate is called my husband, and I wanted to make sure that I recorded this video today, and he's being very loud. So I apologize for that, but welcome to my craft room. This is all you're gonna be able to see because my craft room is a hot mess. But I am not, and neither is your thank you letter going to be. I usually get two main questions outside of the content of this letter. The first one is, when should you send the letter? And the second one is, how long should the letter be? When should you send the letter? If you're going to be sending the letter by email, then you should send it within 48 hours. If you're going to be hand delivering the letter, you should be delivering it either the next day or the day after. But if you're going to be delivering it to a small office, under 10 people, and the office manager or the hiring manager is usually working towards the front where as soon as you walk in they can see you, I wouldn't recommend hand delivering it at that point, because you don't want to interrupt what they're doing. You don't want them to feel awkward. You don't want to feel awkward if they have another candidate in the waiting room. And if there's another candidate in the waiting room or in the reception area, they may get a good idea from what you're doing and they may do the same thing. So don't be giving anybody any good ideas. It's best, in my opinion, to send it via email. How long should this letter be? Well, I'm going to say it should be no longer than 10 sentences. Between 5 and 10 sentences will be perfect. You don't want to over-explain or talk about the same things you talked about in the interview. It's just not necessary. You don't want to take up their time by reading this thank you letter if it's all the same information that you just gave them yesterday. So by the next 5 tips, we'll be able to help you formulate this letter and keep it nice and short and concise and sweet to the point so that they see it in a positive way. Number 1, addressing the letter. If you have interviewed with the hiring manager, then you're going to address it to that person's name. If they have told you they want you to call them Miss Wendy, Mrs. Wendy, Dr. Wendy, whatever they want you to call them, that's how you're going to address it. So if they are Dr. Wendy Aldaman, oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Then I want you to address it that way in the letter. I don't want you to address it Miss Wendy, or I don't want you to address it Dear Wendy if I am a doctor. So be conscious of that, but address it personal to them. Since you have already had this interview, I don't want you to address it to whom it may concern. Blah, blah, blah. I hate when I see that, when I hear that. If at all possible, in any cover letter, any reference letter, any email that you send to them, if you know their name, do not address it to whom it may concern, because you know their name. You know who it's concerning. Number 2, thank them for the opportunity for the interview. Because you're sending this letter, you are excited about this position. You are overjoyed about this position. And here are some additional words that you can utilize in this letter to help you stand out. I'm going to leave it up for just a second. So I want you to say how excited you are about this position and learning more about this position, especially if you've never done this job before. I want you to talk about how you are a great fit for this position and some research that you've done. But let's get into the research part in just a second. These are going to go away, so make sure you take a screenshot in 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. Number 3. I don't want this letter to be generic. I don't want it to be a copy and paste from the internet. I want you to have this specific because this is your dream position, right? So I want you to make sure that you talk about something specific from the interview in this letter. So if you had struggled with a question, this is one spot that you can kind of talk about that question, but I don't want you to over-explain, and I don't want you to defend yourself. I don't want you to say, I answered that question poorly, here's the answer I would have given, blah, blah, blah. Be cautious about that, but I want you to talk about something specific from this interview. Wendy, are you telling me that I have to tailor make my thank you letter, my cover letter, and my resume all specifically to this office? What if I don't even get that job? See, that's where you're thinking negatively. When you think negatively around the position, chances are you might not be able to get that position. So I want you to think positively. I want you to think that this is not a position you're going to get. This is a position you have. So you're going to address each of these specifically to the person who needs it. So the hiring manager. Can you imagine that when you're in an interview, you ask them a question, and rather than them giving you an answer that is tailored to you and the situation and your question and the other information they've already given you, could you imagine if they instead either find a video that answers that question or flip through a packet and find the correct answer? That is how they feel if you have a thank you letter that says, thank you so much for your interview yesterday. I'm really excited to get an opportunity potentially for another interview in the future. Please keep me in mind, blah, blah, blah. What crap is that? Now, at the end of these 5 tips, I have an example for you. Make sure you stay until the end so that you can listen to this thank you letter. And actually, I have it all typed up so you can actually take a screenshot if you want to, if that can help you to be able to formulate your thank you letter for this office, this business, this company that you're gonna work for, not that you're potentially gonna work for, that you're gonna work for, because this is your dream job and you're really excited about it. So wait till the end so that you can see that thank you letter firsthand. Number 4, I want you to gently reinforce the reason why you are the perfect candidate for this position. Again, this is going to be like 1 or 2 sentences. This number 4 and number 3 are going to be 1 to 2 sentences. I don't want you to over-explain any of this. This is the reason why I said that this letter is only going to be 5 to 10 sentences, because I know people can get wordy, and that's not what you're going to do. You're going to keep it short and sweet and to the point. You're not going to waste your time creating this letter that they potentially might not read. You're not going to waste their time by reading this letter, which is basically a synopsis of what your interview was yesterday, right? Yeah? Okay. So reiterate why you're perfect for this candidate gently, okay? Just do it gently. Now, if you want to smash that subscribe button, feel free to do that, but you're going to be gentle on reiterating why you're perfect for this position. 5. Just kidding, that was 7. Tip number 5. There's not a 7. Tip number 5. I want you to let them know what is your best mode of communication. Now, in the interview yesterday, you probably already talked about what your job position is right now, what you're doing for work right now. So they probably already know you're working full-time or part-time or on the weekends or at night. But reiterate in this email or this letter how you can be best reached. Now, if I were in your shoes, I would say feel free to text or call or email or video chat me, and I will do my best to be available when you contact me. Doesn't that sound beautiful? Okay, that's a great little sentence you can add in there. Now, this means that you're probably going to be getting a phone call from a number that you don't have saved in your phone. So that means from now until you get your dream position, you're going to be answering all of those phone calls that you receive, all of them. Even if it says spam or scam or whatever it says, If it says unknown name and unknown number, if it says a weird business name that doesn't sound like the business that you just interviewed for, answer it anyway, okay? And this also means, this is a bonus little tip for you, to change your voicemail to something that is much more attractive. There are so many people out there that have just ridiculous voicemails, and if you have a ringback tone, delete it. I will tell you, I was once hiring for a business and I had a ringback tone that I was listening to, and I like rap music. Rap music is totally fine with me, but this one is so raunchy that I was like, oh my goodness, if she answers the phone, I'm going to be like put off because it was so bad, okay? So if you have a ringback tone, go ahead and change it now. You have a voicemail that's not set up, set it up. If you have a voicemail box that is full, delete some messages, save some messages. There's so much technology around voicemails now. If you need to save your voicemails, you can do so. My voicemail sounds something like this. Let me remember. Hi, this is Wendy Aldaman with Career Elevations. Thank you so much for giving me a call, but I apologize that I wasn't available to take your phone call. If you would rather, feel free to send me a text or email me at careerelevationce@gmail.com, and I will be happy to return your phone call as soon as I'm able to. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Doesn't that sound so pleasant versus, this is Wendy, leave me a voicemail? Sounds super professional, because that's just going to better your chances to get this position. I've got a sample for you, a sample thank you letter. So my husband's business, if you didn't know, he resells items on Amazon, and our employee that has been with us since the very beginning, since we started this business in the basement of our last home. She's been amazing, but she resigned because she's going to homeschool her child, and I couldn't be more thankful for her decision because I know her child is struggling. So I'm so very thankful for this, but I'm very sad to see her leave. So if I happen to get a thank you letter from one of the candidates, this is what I would like it to say. Dear Mo, I want to personally thank you for the opportunity to interview with you yesterday. I was delighted to hear about the history of the business and evolution of it. I learned a lot about your office culture and how Amazon works. I've already started watching some YouTube videos from X, Y, and Z to help my learning if I am chosen for this position. Yesterday, we talked a lot about terms that I did not know since I'm new to this industry. I've downloaded and already started this course to help me understand this industry more, and I couldn't be more passionate about it. I know that my organization and planning will be very beneficial if I'm selected for this position. If you have any additional questions, feel free to contact me via text, phone, email, or video chat. I will do my best to be available when you contact me. Thank you again for your time, Wendy. I want to wrap up this video, one, because I'm done, but two, because the lighting is getting really bad, so I apologize for that. But I want you to stay tuned for next week's video. I'm going to talk about how to say thanks but no thanks very nicely in an email or over the phone if you get selected for a second interview or you get selected for the job. Now, this is important because of lots of different reasons, but I want you to stay tuned for next week to learn why it's important. Did you see that on August 30th, which is a Sunday at 7 p.m., I'm hosting a 3-day live. I've never done a 3-day live before, and I'm super excited about it. So if you're interested in joining so that you can get this dream job, you can continue to get tips and tricks and get you placed into that position that you've always wanted. Because you're sick of your coworkers, right? You're sick of your drive into work. You're sick of getting paid pennies on the dollar, and you know you deserve more. I know it too. So join me for that 3-day live so you can get the job of your dreams. Send me an email and I will send you the link so that I'll see you on the 30th of August at 7 p.m. See you there. Until next time, this is Wendy Aldaman with Career Elevation. I'll see you next week. Keep elevating your career.